What's going on, everybody? I'm eating things and you're watching Less Than Rhetorical. And today we're finishing up, or at least going on part two of our tier list for attacking operators, solo queue attacking operators. Who should you play? Who's the best? Last time we talked about this main this operator category, and we got through five of these operators. And my good buddy Hydrator is here with me again today to go through the rest of the operators on this list, as many as we can get through in this video. Again, the categories, so that you know, that I put together are main this operator, very good, situational, like you can play them sometimes, but sometimes you don't need them. Maybe there's other operators that are better. Then there's some operators in a category that kind of like, I don't know, if you're really good at the game and you've got a strat with your squad, okay, maybe they're great in that moment, in that rare occasion, but they're not. There's a lot of better operators that I pick on a regular basis for solo queue. And then there's finally some operators that from a solo queue perspective, dude, what are you thinking? So that's our categories right now. Josh, you've seen, or Hydrator, you've seen the list. Now we've already talked about main this operator. Tell me, who do you like? Is this list good as is, or do you want to change some things around?
Yeah, I've got a few that I would change around.
All right, let's hear your thoughts.
There's a lot I agree with, but up in the very good category, I'd probably start with the conversation about Thatcher.
Thatcher. All
I'd
right, let's talk about this boy.
all right, I'd move him down to situational. Um,
Ooh. All right,
yeah,
let me hear your thoughts. Poor Thatcher's getting
so
bumped.
he is. So unfortunately, once they came out with the Impact EMPs, it took away a lot of the value of Thatcher.
Okay.
Um, and so, because the impact EMPs are done by a lot of the operators that you have both in very good and in main, you get Thatcher's utility plus some really good primary utility from some of these other
I can see that.
operators. Yeah, and then to make matters worse, honestly, I'd keep him in the very good just because three extra large EMPs can be really powerful. I'd keep him in the very good if they made him a two speed again. Um,
Ah, yeah, that really does hurt him, didn't it? I didn't realize how much that nerf would impact Thatcher,
yeah,
but it really has impacted Thatcher.
yeah, because you go from okay, I'm going to help Thermite or Ace get down the wall, and then I can go anywhere in the map and frag out like Sledge does. I'm not quite as
Mm-hmm.
effective as Sledge because I don't have the hammer, but I've got a great gun. I can move decently quickly. And actually, if I've still got an EMP left, then I can use that to kind of make it easier to go around and flank. But really, all you're doing is the same thing that the impact EMPs do. There are situations where those EMPs are better depending on what the enemy team is bringing to try to hold down the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But the other team has to be really committed, I think, for Thatcher to really provide value.
Yeah. And in a solo queue environment, I mean, I think you could make a case that it's situational. Maybe if you've got teammates that are talking to you in the solo queue, then at that point, yeah, Thatcher might be actually better than an impact EMP because then you don't have to drone in and try to find where the wall denial is. But on a team where nobody's speaking to you and you're the odd man out, you come over to the wall and nobody comes. I
Yeah.
don't know. Um, I
Yeah,
did.
unfortunately, a lot of times when I solo queue, hard breaches don't go to the hard breach until a minute and a half later.
I did notice that the buff that came out with the horizontal attachment really did make a difference for Thatcher and Sledge. They feel more like two speeds now than they used to. They might be a little slower, but they feel more like that than they used to. Um, but I could see the argument that he's situational. Why does he get banned all the time?
So, habit and comfort bands. not having to mess with him is helpful. And again, especially I would imagine when you get into the higher ranks when there are team strats and it's just easier to be able to play. When you have good Cade players, it makes a difference too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but not everybody wants to play Cade in all the ranks, and so Thatcher becomes less important if they're just going to put down bandits and mutes to protect the wall.
All right, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with saying situational for Thatcher. All right, who else do we have?
All right. I would also move Blitz to situational.
Oh, Blitz. Explain to me why situational. Shields are very strong right now, so why are you moving him to situational?
Well, there's kind of two reasons. The first is just bluntly, I think uh, Monty should be in a class of their own. I don't
Okay.
think any of the other shield operators can compare with what Monty can do. So that
Yeah.
kind of makes it to where I would put them into two different tiers anyway.
Okay.
Um, I also think shields in general are situational,
Mm-hmm.
and with um, Blitz, you have to be moving at full speed. You have to have a team that's backing you up at that speed, or
Okay.
the other team has to be unable to handle that. No traps, different things like that. So again, there's situations where, boom, that's going to win a round by itself. Blitz will run the round for you with no other help. But there's other times where, because of the way the defense is playing, the way your teammates are playing, and maybe even what you're wanting to do, that you would be better off bringing another operator.
Hmm. From a solo queue perspective, I could see that. I'm okay with that move too. Both of these two operators are people that I bounce back and forth between these two categories. I like the arguments that you're making. And if I'm just honest, I don't pick Blitz very often. I pick Monty all the time. I think Monty's really strong right now. If you're not running Monty, you're just making a mistake. You need to run out, and if you're solo queuing and you don't have a Monty on your team, try him out. He's really strong right now. But Blitz, I don't know. You can't manage aggression as well as you can with Monty. Like
Yeah,
Monty, I
the
can put up
legs
a
being
shield,
uncovered just
right?
changes everything.
Yeah, and I think they did patch it where, his legs are covered, but his shoulder's always exposed.
Yeah,
So if you can aim, you can kill the Blitz. I don't fear Blitz like I fear Monty players as much either.
agreed. Yep.
Okay, what you got for me next?
So in the situational categories, there's a
Mm-hmm.
couple that I would love to move, but I really can't make the arguments to move them.
All right, who do
Um,
you want to move?
like, well, like Thermite, just for old
Love
school,
him.
he would be somebody that I would love to go up to very good. But it's true. He's really just situational. What he does is amazing and he is necessary in those rounds. And he can be played in other places, but you're still better off taking Ace a lot of times. And the many hard breaches can replace him sometimes and still give the utility. So some of the arguments we were talking about Thatcher, I think, again, superb situational player in the right situation, but I want to move him to very good, but I just can't quite do it.
Okay,
Um,
same with Habana.
yeah. Habana
Mm-hmm.
Habana is a wonderful theory, and again, right situation is fine,
Yep.
but the device is
Hatches.
just so clunky. Yeah, Hatches, she's amazing.
She's amazing. Yep, but
Uh,
only in that situation.
yeah, trying to get down the wall, it just feels clunky, and every other season it feels like there's a glitch in how the pellets go off anyway, which also makes it frustrating.
Right.
Um, So the only other person that again I kind of felt like I would want to move up, but again probably can't because it depends on what the defenders are bringing, was Flores.
Now I will say there is no better counter to Azami than Flores.
Yeah,
I think
Flores
Flores is
is
the perfect Azami counter.
and really counters a lot of operators just
Mm-hmm.
because they can clear out so much utility.
Yeah.
Um, and so if the other team is going utility based rather than, trying to play for frags,
Right.
he's a must pick. But there are
Yeah.
times where his gadget is not as helpful because of the way the other team is playing and the utility they're bringing, and his gun being as mid as it is, I think keeps that from moving him
Yeah.
up to the very good rank.
Yeah. Good arguments. Good arguments all. That's actually how I feel in some sense about Brava and Gridlock.
Yeah,
Because as good as Brava is right now against Malusi, if the other team stops bringing Malusi, Brava ends up being a useless pick and is just not meta. People are moving too fast for her. And Gridlock, her utility is fantastic. Everybody picks Nomad over Gridlock. I think Nomad's a better entry fragger than she is like a flank watch or a plant denial, personally. I think she's actually a really good entry fragger, but um, as much as I want to move Gridlock up because she's got the nades, she's got the LMG, she's got a really powerful utility with 4 stingers that she can throw out that deafen everybody. You can't hear what's going on. And they can cover your flank, and they can cover the plant, and they can stop people from swinging certain areas. As good as all that is, she's slow.
yeah.
And she's just situational. There's just sometimes that I'd rather have Monty or Ram or Striker or anybody else up here than I would Gridlock.
Yeah, to be able to deploy the utility, and that is the advantage that Nomad has over her. Nomad can be played attackingly, like you can
Yes.
attack with the air jabs
Mm-hmm.
to push people out of areas,
Yeah.
whereas it's really not the same. And if you peak as slow as you are to try to throw the canisters, you're looking to get yourself shot.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Let's talk about the bottoms, the ones at
all
the
right,
bottom, the dumps. Okay. Who do you got down here?
all right.
Let's just run
So
through some of these here. So Nook, Amaru, IQ. What are you feeling about these here?
those I would all leave in this area. They struggle. The
Okay.
For various reasons, you have to have your team involved. Again, good players can make them work. Um, some very particular strats can also make them work, but overall, the value is just not good enough to be playing them over other people. If you're um, trying to really rank up.
Okay. What about Capital, Maverick, Fuse?
So I would actually move all three of those up. And I'll just
All
kind of
three?
all three.
Okay. Quick arguments here. Why?
Very quick arguments. Fuse upstairs, that situation he's perfect for, especially if other people are going to go upstairs and help you clear roamers.
Okay.
Even in solo queue, that's still a good strategy. If you notice your team is doing that, he just destroys all the base utility. You get a couple of cheap kills. He has great guns, but if you're not shooting well and they're on the lower floor, play Fuse and try to get some cheap kills that way.
Okay.
Maverick cannot be countered by the defense from a utility perspective. You can get down the wall with Maverick. Even if you don't have anybody helping you, it'd be nice if someone was helping you. But even if you don't have anybody helping you, you can make a circle you can get through if you had to. And it doesn't matter what they put on that wall, you can do it.
Okay.
And then Capitao is kind of like Gridlock. He doesn't have necessarily the best utility. Again, it's sometimes kind of clunky, but he just has so much of it that there are situations where you can build strats around him and you can use him. And I like his guns too. So that's true of all three of those. I like their guns.
What about Sophia and Sense?
So since I would definitely keep there, I think Zofia could move up as well, again, because she's a lot like Capitao with all the utility that she has. Unfortunately, her guns aren't as good. So it depends on how good you can control recoil if you move her out of this category into
Mm.
situational. But she's very similar to Capitao in that regard to me.
All right, and Glass, Callie, and Blackbeard, do they all belong down here?
I'd move Blackbeard up one.
Blackbeard, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
just because the shield is something where good fraggers can do some things, um, and again, if you're good, you can get away with it. Sometimes it's not the smart play. Don't do it, but yes, you can get away with that, and the shield can provide value because you stop one headshot and that's enough for you to get the kill on the opponent because they couldn't get another quick enough.
Okay, if you're good, you might be able to get away with him. All right, I see the argument there. Uh, I will tell you, for Capitao, he sounds amazing. But in my experience, he just is so situational that even in situations where it seems like he should be perfect, I have trouble using him effectively in a solo queue environment. I'll leave him in situational. I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm not. I just think he's at the bottom of the list for situational for me.
Agreed with that.
Um, for Sophia, her guns are really. I mean, the LMG's coming back a little bit, but I just can't control her guns. I'm
Yeah.
not good enough, and for that, I've just got to put her down into. If you're good, maybe you can get away with it with her, but I just don't find her to be like last season. I would have put her in situational. This season, I just feel like she's down here.
And if she was a two speed, she would be up to situational too.
Exactly.
If she was another one, the speed really hurt.
But I'm fine with Maverick and Fuse, and I'm fine with the rest of this list. So I don't know what you guys think. Put it in the comments. Do you like this list? Do you think it's good? Do you think it needs changed? Tell us what you think. But you've been watching Less Than Rhetorical, and we want to thank you very much for your support of the channel. Like and subscribe, please. It really does help us to produce more content like this. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you, Hydrator, for joining me for this video.
Thank you.
Have a great one.